results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you here. So we have prolonged, dangerously hot and humid conditions for a long stretch. East, central, and western areas of the state, we have heat advisories and extreme heat warnings. In Charleston, our extreme heat warning is today and lasts all the way through 10 p.m. Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today we're up to an extreme heat risk in the purple there to the west. The heat risk is extreme when the heat and humidity is either rare and or prolonged. We'll have some dangerously hot temperatures and very high heat index values too. Likely dry across the state, some patchy dense fog. Chances of storms potentially return sometime around the holiday weekend. We had a high 92, low at 71 yesterday. Both of those 6 above average. Again, likely dry. Some areas of dense fog may affect your morning drive, then strong sunshine. Sunny to mostly sunny skies with very high heat and humidity. Fly-saver forecast, it starts at home. Most of these cities have heat concerns too. Washington, D.C., 102 Thursday, 103 Friday. Looking ahead for the 4th of July on Saturday. Seeing their forecast at 101. That would be their hottest 4th of July on record in Washington, D.C., so keep an eye on that. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to upper 90s with the higher triple-digit heat index values, extreme heat warning for you. The Eastern Panhandle, you have a heat advisory today, mid-90s to some low 100s, and some uncertainty regarding Thursday, Friday, but there is an extreme heat watch for Thursday, Friday for the Eastern Panhandle. Central and western areas, you have the warning, highs mid to upper 90s. Will likely fall shy of record highs, but some daily warm record lows will be possible here and there. Western areas, hot, humid, dangerously so if proper precautions aren't met. 97 in Charleston today, little to no relief with the lows too in the 70s. Saturday for the 4th, there is a chance of showers and storms and still hot and humid, 95. Still watching chances of off and on storms next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
A big announcement this morning, plus more reactions to yesterday's rulings by the U.S. Supreme Court. This is MetroNews Talkline, and we are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Gang's all here. Sorta. We're down a guy. TJ is enjoying some rest and relaxation on an undisclosed golf course somewhere. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. And if you're watching in on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube, we appreciate you as well. A big announcement for the WVRC Media family of radio stations this morning. We'll talk about that. You already know it. Coming up bottom of the hour, the boss man, George Pelletier, going to join me in studio. Later, we'll talk to the mayor of Wheeling about the redevelopment of the Sonic Foundry site. Is it going to be a data center? Is it not going to be a data center? We'll try to get some answers from the mayor. And later, we'll get to the text line, of course, 304-TALK-304. And Ethan will join us. Producer Ethan will give us 2 good soccer minutes at the end of the show today to get you ready for USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina in World Cup knockout round action. Text lines 304-TALK-304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Yesterday, right about this time, as a matter of fact, the United States Supreme Court issued its opinion on the BPJ case, as we've come to call it here. Yesterday, the Supreme Court upholding West Virginia's law that prevents boys from competing in girls' sports. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in his concurring opinion, quote, "Sex is an immutable biological characteristic. It's binary. And man and woman, boy and girl are terms that correspond to adults and children of each sex. To use language to obscure reality, to show indifference regarding the truth is to lie to the public and cease to treat our fellow citizens as equals." That was Justice Clarence Thomas in his concurring opinion. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning, Linnea Saltz, an ambassador for the Independent Women's Forum, a former Division I athlete, competed in track and cross country, and competed against the first male athlete identifying as female in Division I cross country. Linnea, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me and for talking about something that seems so common sense to people like you and I, but clearly we had to bring it to the Supreme Court in order for it to be finalized.
So what was your reaction when you heard the opinion and read the opinion coming from the Supreme Court yesterday?
I was elated. I was relieved. As you mentioned, I was forced to compete against the first male to female transgender athlete in NCAA Division I athletics. This was something that was presented to me back in 2019. So to believe that we're here in 2026, we've been at executive order signings with President Trump. We've now been long awaiting a reaction from the Supreme Court about, is it okay for men to compete in women's sports? It was just a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Me and so many other women that have been fighting on this issue for years were texting and calling and celebrating that, reality is coming back to this country, that men do not equal women and vice versa. And there's a reason for separation of sex in sports.
So take me back to 2020 when you learned you were going to be competing against a man identifying as a woman in that race. How were you preparing, and when did it hit you that the field had fundamentally changed here?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to know before walking onto the starting line. I know that there's been a lot of individuals that have showed up to races and have said, oh, that's not a biological female. It had come to my attention that an individual running at the University of Montana, 3 years on the men's team, redshirted on their 4th year, was coming back as a female for their 5th year. This was an individual that was running world record times for women in the men's category and was now just set to compete against all of us. Of course, I wanted to do my due diligence. I wanted to make sure that this was something that not only the NCAA was going to allow, but they were going to uphold their transgender inclusion handbook that they wrote back in 2013 at the time when there was no trans athletes competing within the NCAA. They told me that that's exactly what they were going to do, that this individual had taken a year off, taken a private practice physician of their choosing to determine what their hormone suppression therapy was going to look like. And that was fair enough to them. And they're now a female like the rest of us. I obviously didn't find that to be very fair. So at the time, I decided to reach out to some attorneys and figure out a way that we could move forward in suing the NCAA. It wasn't until the Big Sky Indoor Conference Championship meet that I was set to compete against said individual. It was then that they were able to take their team in the distance medley relay, where we competed from almost last place, second to last place, to second place, which first place would have been obtainable if the stretch hadn't gotten so far in the other 3 legs. But what became very apparent to me in that race, when the rest of us are collapsing at the finish line, gasping for air in altitude at Idaho State University, this individual's coach is telling her to slow down on the racetrack because she's going too fast. It's obviously easier for her to compete at this sort of level because you were doing so at a much faster level far before. Alliance Defending Freedom were my attorneys of record at the time. We were set to sue the NCAA in April of 2020. However, 2020 is a year that everyone will remember because that is when COVID happened. So lawsuit went moot. This individual was no longer competing within the NCAA, and it wasn't until we saw a very, very similar situation occur 2 years later with Leah Thomas. But it was just all over again.
You could have, and we're talking to Linnea Saltz. She's an ambassador for Independent Women's Forum, former Division I track and field cross country athlete. You could have graduated, moved on to the next thing. You chose advocacy. What pushed you into advocacy for women's sports?
What pushed me into advocacy, I am a lobbyist by trade. It was the job I ended up pursuing post-college, but I never foresaw myself thinking that I need to defend women across the country in fairness in sports. At the time, my athletic advisor the athletic director at Southern Utah University, where I was competing at the time, Debbie Coram, one of the very few female athletic directors in NCAA Division I athletics, went to college at a time where Title IX wasn't a thing. It wasn't prevalent. So she was so supportive in me throughout my adventure, throughout my journey, the president of my university, everything. But I realized very quickly throughout the backlash that I was receiving, as well as other women that were standing beside me, that not everyone was on the same page as us. And everyone wanted to remain silent as opposed to joining together at the forefront and bringing back common sense, bringing back reality to the situation that is men do not belong in women's sports. So as difficult as it was, I said, well, this is going to be my calling. This is exactly what I was meant to do. And there was a reason that this happened in the big sky and I was in the big sky, and we're just going to keep pursuing it. So I was there outside of Georgia Tech when Leah Thomas was set to compete against Riley Gaines. I was protesting. I was doing interviews. I was convincing other women just like me 2 years prior to stand up. It didn't matter the university's name that was across their chest. It mattered how the NCAA was making them feel, which was abandoned and it was unfair. And I remember calling my dad in the hallways of Georgia Tech, watching Leah Thomas win, crying to him saying, it's happening and it's happening all over again. And he was one of my biggest supporters. And I have him to thank for the strength and resilience I have throughout this fight.
Linnea Saltz joining us, ambassador for Independent Women's Forum, former Division I athlete. You're a lobbyist. You know lawmakers have a tendency to overcomplicate things. In these debates, there's 27 states now that have laws similar to what West Virginia has. I've covered these debates in the legislature. I've heard the arguments for and against. What are lawmakers missing, or what's missing from these conversations often?
A lot of what I'm seeing that's too involved in the conversations is much more feeling based as opposed to logic. My home state of Nevada has a very similar protection as West Virginia, but listening to those arguments, same when I was there to represent when I was living in Utah at the time, you listen to a lot of lawmakers talk about the feelings and pushing aside the reality that is biological advantages, physiological advantages. When an individual that is a man goes through male puberty, that's not something that's reversible, especially when you're talking about 19, 20, 21-year-olds. So instead of looking at it from this idea of inclusion and looking at it as an idea from feelings and things like that, it isn't inclusionary to force males to compete against females. It's actually at the disinclusion of female athletes everywhere. So I implore individuals when they start to look at these, to look at the facts, to put feelings to the side. I know a lot of lawmakers do that because it's difficult not to. We are humans. We see things from a different point of view. And that's what allows us to come to the forefront and have really good bipartisan discussions that can ultimately lead to amazing decisions. However, in this particular argument, we do need to look at the facts. That is, men are biologically faster and stronger than female athletes. And because of that, there needs to be separation of sex in sports and there needs to be protection for female athletes.
Does the conversation change, or should the conversation change at all when we're talking about division or college athletes versus high school student athletes versus middle school? Does the conversation change at all?
I think that it starts to get murky when you try to break it down and obviously make it much more granular when you're talking about 5-year-olds versus 15-year-olds and so on and so forth. However, I think that it just needs to be known that from the beginning that there is no place for men in women's sports. This is something that women have only had a safe space in for the last 50 plus years. And I don't think it's something possible that we should reverse on that and start to look at different opportunities elsewhere. I think it just needs to be, there's a difference between a man and a woman, and that should be the end of the argument.
Is there a broader cultural impact to yesterday's ruling from the Supreme Court?
I think that there's always a broader cultural impact when the Supreme Court makes a decision on anything. We've been waiting a lot of decisions out of them, and a lot of them came out yesterday. And so I know that there's a lot of growing opinions from different sides of the aisle based on different decisions that were made. But I'm hoping that it opens up a lot of individuals' eyes to realize that this is the way of the land. This is the way that it should be. And that we're only doing this to create a safe and welcoming environment for female athletes everywhere.
What do you say to young female athletes, young girls going into middle school athletics, high school athletics, when you get a chance to talk to them and they're watching all of this unfold?
A lot of them reach out to me and a lot of other individuals that see us standing at the forefront of this issue, and they're discouraged. They say, I don't want to be in a position where I'm fighting so hard and making it to NIAA or whatever it is within the state that they're competing in for high school. And I want to be the best at my sport and I want to compete at the collegiate level. But is the NCAA going to protect me? Is the United States of America going to protect me? Is anyone going to make sure that I'm not forced to strip down naked next to a man in a locker room with only 12 other girls around me? And it's frustrating that it's gotten to that point, because the whole purpose of why female athletes should be able to compete in sports is because it's a safe, competitive environment for them. But I tell them, rest assured, we have an amazing president that we're sitting under right now, and Donald Trump for his second term, that is going to fight and stand to protect us. Just the executive order, of course, was a step in the right direction. But now having the Supreme Court justice come down and say, this is how it's going to be, there is going to continue to be separation of men and girls in sports everywhere. Know that there is a load of individuals fighting for you day in and day out to make sure that you get equal representation and opportunity for years to come, so that you can flourish and break all sorts of records and different things like that in the sport of your choosing.
How much does that running background help as a lobbyist when you're chasing down lawmakers?
I have been told that my heels are quite loud in the halls of Congress. My clients like to say that we can always hear you coming from around the corner, but not as fast anymore, maybe just a little bit more furious.
Linnea Saltz, ambassador for Independent Women's Forum, former Division I cross country and track and field athlete. Linnea, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you so much for having me.
You as well. Thank you very much. 800-765-TALKS, the phone number, 800-765-8255, 304-TALK, 304, the text line. It's hot in Europe. We'll get an update from Jonathan Savage.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Summer in West Virginia means open roads, blue skies, and endless possibilities. But if you don't have reliable wheels, getting to work or making it to a doctor's appointment can feel like an uphill climb. That's where Good News Mountaineer Garage comes in. We take donated vehicles, fix them up, and get them to fellow mountaineers who need them the most. This summer, let's keep our community moving. Donate a vehicle today by calling 866-GIVE-CAR or visit goodnewsmountaineergarage.org. Donate a car, change a life.
At the WVU Cancer Institute, our experts deliver personalized care for each patient with pancreatic cancer. We utilize innovative treatments and technology, backed by one of the nation's top 25 robotic surgery programs. From diagnosis and surgery to treatment and survivorship, we're here for you every step of the way. Call 855-WVU-CARE.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger
Wake
West
up
Virginia,
with the MetroNews Radio Network and get informed
has a
with
proven
them.
plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
For
over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing, that he didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true. So
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk, 304 the text line. We'll get to your text coming up later this hour. A heat wave, not only here in the States, but across the Atlantic. Europe is in the midst of a deadly heat wave. Let's get the latest. Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Jonathan, what's going on over there?
Hi there. Yes, we have seen records tumble in multiple European countries over the last week or so. Certainly records for the hottest day ever experienced in June. That has fallen multiple times here in the United Kingdom as well as in France and Germany, with temperatures in excess of 100 degrees in several places. Now, in Europe, we do get hot summers, we get warm temperatures. These are very hot, extreme temperatures, even for July and August. Having them in June is unprecedented. And the big difference, of course, between Europe and North America is that in Europe, only about 20% of homes have air conditioning compared to about 90% in North America. That's causing problems. It's causing problems in hospitals. It's causing problems in homes. I know one hospital near Paris in France, they had to go to a fast food restaurant to get a huge quantity of ice to help cool people who were critically ill with heat stroke. So these are our countries who are now having to adapt to climate change.
Jonathan, why is that just a cultural difference between the U.S. and Europe? Is it due to older housing? It just doesn't. Why so few air conditioners in Europe?
European summers have traditionally been milder, and construction in Europe has often focused on keeping homes warm in the winter. Now, sometimes things like thick stone walls and shutters, cross ventilation, opening windows at night work reasonably well in milder European summers. But now we're seeing temperatures that we're simply not used to, and these previous ways of keeping houses cool are becoming increasingly inadequate. There are other factors to this as well. Cost is a big factor. Electricity is generally more expensive on this side of the Atlantic than it is for you. And central air conditioning or split system air conditioning, that costs a lot of money to install, especially for many people. When they move into a home, if you don't have air conditioning, it's not necessarily a cost that's going to come to mind when you're buying a new property, and so many homes don't have it. I got a survey for my house recently. It would be about $23,000 to get 5 air conditioning units in my home. So it's an awful lot to expect people to suddenly come up with that money.
Wow. Wow, Jonathan. That's not cheap, buddy. That's not cheap at all.
No.
Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Keeping an eye on the World Cup. Just before I got about a minute here, Jonathan. Keeping an eye. What are you watching?
Yeah, so in about 90 minutes from now, England are playing. So same in London, lots of people here are looking forward to that one. They're playing against the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are expected to win. If they don't, I would imagine it would be a national crisis here, and the Prime Minister would have to come out and make a statement. But you never know. Democratic Republic of Congo could cause an upset. And then not long after that, the United States have their round of 32 game against Bosnia-Herzegovina, a game the U.S. should be victorious in, but in elimination football and knockout round football, all it takes is one mistake or one moment of genius to change things. It could be a tricky match, but I think the U.S. has what it takes.
Have you been following? The Norwegian fans are now one of my favorites over here. They keep showing up at different sporting events. They were at the PGA event where Victor Hovland won the other day, just having a big time. They're having fun, Jonathan, over here.
They are, and they've got some very unique chants and sort of movements, rhythmic movements that are reminiscent of a Norse Viking warship making its way across the North Sea. It's great to see them. They've won their game too. They're going to the next round, and I look forward to them. I hope they stay in for quite a long time.
All right, Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Stay cool, Jonathan.
Thank you. Take care.
You as well. Coming up, there was a big announcement about an hour or so ago across the WVRC Media family of radio stations. We'll talk about that with the boss. He'll join us in the studio next. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30, time to get a news update. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network, find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you here. So we have prolonged, dangerously hot and humid conditions for a long stretch. East, central, and western areas of the state, we have heat advisories and extreme heat warnings. In Charleston, our extreme heat warning is today and lasts all the way through 10 p.m. Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today we're up to an extreme heat risk in the purple there to the west. The heat risk is extreme when the heat and humidity is either rare and or prolonged. We'll have some dangerously hot temperatures and very high heat index values too. Likely dry across the state, some patchy dense fog. Chances of storms potentially return sometime around the holiday weekend. We had a high 92, low at 71 yesterday. Both of those 6 above average. Again, likely dry. Some areas of dense fog may affect your morning drive, then strong sunshine. Sunny to mostly sunny skies with very high heat and humidity. Fly-saver forecast, it starts at home. Most of these cities have heat concerns too. Washington, D.C., 102 Thursday, 103 Friday. Looking ahead for the 4th of July on Saturday. Seeing their forecast at 101. That would be their hottest 4th of July on record in Washington, D.C., so keep an eye on that. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to upper 90s with the higher triple-digit heat index values, extreme heat warning for you. The Eastern Panhandle, you have a heat advisory today, mid-90s to some low 100s, and some uncertainty regarding Thursday, Friday, but there is an extreme heat watch for Thursday, Friday for the Eastern Panhandle. Central and western areas, you have the warning, highs mid to upper 90s. Will likely fall shy of record highs, but some daily warm record lows will be possible here and there. Western areas, hot, humid, dangerously so if proper precautions aren't met. 97 in Charleston today, little to no relief with the lows too in the 70s. Saturday for the 4th, there is a chance of showers and storms and still hot and humid, 95. Still watching chances of off and on storms next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
We'll get to your text coming up. 304-TALK 304. That's the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Later on, Mayor of Wheeling, Denny Magruder, going to join us. We'll talk about that Foundry site in Warwood. Data center, no data center, what's going on? We'll get to the bottom of that coming up in the second hour. Well, you heard the big news. Jeff Jenkins had it there at the end of the news update. The Mountaineers coming back to the WVRC Media family of radio stations, including the original flagship WAJR in Morgantown. The president of WVRC Media, the boss man, George Pelletier, joins me in the Cove Insurance Studios. Good, well, got to hit the right button. Good morning, George.
Hey, Dave. Good to be with you, and glad to be able to talk a little bit about this big announcement.
So, I had a big announcement. We had it, and you can watch it over at the MetroNews TV app this morning. Ren Baker was in studio. You were in studio. The Mountaineers coming back to the WVRC Media family of radio stations.
Yeah, that's correct. This fall, we're very excited to welcome back the Mountaineers to several of our radio stations across the state of West Virginia. Especially excited for here in Morgantown, WAJR and WVAQ will become the flagship stations that will originate a lot of the broadcast for here for the home games, etc. We'll carry football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball on our roster of stations. It'll be broadcast in Morgantown, and then also in Clarksburg and Elkins, Cumberland, Kaiser, and also Martinsburg. So very, very excited to welcome the Mountaineers back to where they belong here at our WVRC stations, and look forward to enhancing the coverage and obviously with our full service FM power, it will help the fan base to be able to have an opportunity to listen to the pregame and those type of things on clear and great radio stations across the state.
Not to toot our own horn, but I did hear Ren during the announcement talk how important radio is to the fan base, to being able to hear not just the football, but the coverage going in, the coverage coming out. It's important to the entire fan base.
Absolutely. The radio affiliate coverage is the primary place that most people listen to the games. And so we like to sort of think in terms of whether you're coming from Martinsburg or you're coming from east of Elkins or you're coming from even south of Flatwoods, you'll be able to hear that clearly and uninterrupted all the way into Morgantown or while you're here in the stadium and those types of things. VAQ is a 50 kilowatt FM that has probably 50, 60 miles worth of coverage. And as you know, with the mountains that you have in the state of West Virginia,
Sure.
that can get a little bit dicey from time to time. But those full power FMs in all of our markets are really going to help to enhance the coverage.
And what a time to get the Mountaineers back, George, because go back, 15, 20 years, it was football, men's basketball, but the growth in women's basketball, what the baseball team has just achieved as well. This is a heck of a time to get back in that partnership.
Hasn't it been exciting here, especially of late, with the success of the women's basketball team and then most recently the baseball team with their run that they had in the College World Series? And what a great sort of example that set for all of the fans of West Virginia with our what we did showing up there and in essence becoming sort of the team that everybody was rooting for. We look at that as going to continue. Football should be continue to get better. Men's basketball as well. It's just a great time for us to announce this partnership and to become affiliates with WVU Sports again.
Not asking you to pull the curtain all the way back, but this didn't just happen last Friday. This has been something that has been it's taken a total team effort to make all this happen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I've told people that I was at Ren's house when he pulled in from Denton, several years ago. But no, it has been an ongoing discussion, and we've been talking about it for several years, and just so happy and so proud of all the people that helped us be able to present, a way for us to be able to do this again, and also to the university for being in favor of seeing the benefit of what the WVRC stations can bring to the overall coverage for the fans of WVU Sports.
So WVU Sports coming back to WVRC's family of radio stations, WAJR, WVAQ, WBRB, WFBY, WKMZ, WEPM, WXDC, so that covers Morgantown, Fairmont, Clarksburg, Bridgeport, Weston, Buchanan, Elkins, Cumberland, Kaiser, Martinsburg and Berkeley Springs.
Absolutely. Very, very excited, and go Mountaineers.
George, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Dave.
Anything else you want? You're the boss. You want to stick around?
It's fun being here, I can tell you that. So, no, we're just really, really excited about it for all the people here at our company. It's a great day for everybody. We're excited.
Awesome. George, appreciate you stopping by. Big
Thanks,
announcement this morning. Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
Coming back, we'll get to your text messages, 304-TALK, 304. Also, you're not going to believe this story out of Preston County. We'll get to this as well. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255, 304-TALK, 304. That's the text line. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For couples that are experiencing infertility, about half will have the male factor in the diagnosis. At the WVU Medicine Center for Reproductive Medicine, we offer a wide array of treatment options for male factor infertility. There's really no reason you would need to go anywhere else. If we can identify and treat male factor infertility, we can prevent couples from even having to go down the road of IVF, saving you potentially money and time. We're here to help build a family. We have the capabilities and we care.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
800-765-TALK is the phone number, 800-765-8255. Text the show, 304-TALK, 304. Get to the story out of Preston County. As a former police chief once told me, not all criminals are Danny Ocean. Have that for you coming up just a bit. About an hour from now, we will talk to our unqualified, unofficial, and unpaid World Cup correspondent, Ethan Collins. 2 good soccer minutes with producer Ethan. That's coming up about an hour from now. 304 Talk 304 is the text line. Texter says, guys, I listen to this show almost every day, and I really enjoy the interviews and interesting conversations, but I'm also always amazed at the number of mean-spirited people who listen and then call in to complain about whatever's being said. I also think that much more attention is paid to high school sports. I also think much more attention is paid to sports in general and high school sports in particular than is strictly speaking healthy for our society. The issue about the high school trans athletes definitely 100% proves my point. I think school sports should be a thing for kids to learn life skills and enjoy time with their peers, not to mention an opportunity for healthy exercise that many people don't get. School sports is a place to make money or allow adults to relive their glory days. There should not be. I really wish that there was less emphasis on sports success and more on letting everyone participate. In my humble opinion, we should allow anyone who wants to participate in whatever healthy way that works for them, says the texter. Texter, totally disagree with you. That is not what sports is, all of those things. But what sports teaches you with proper coaching and the proper mentorships is all of those lessons: hard work, dedication, loyalty to your teammates, responsibility to your teammates. But part of competition is winning. It is being successful. It's not the only thing, but being successful teaches you that the hard work and the dedication that you put in when nobody's looking, those practices, it's worth it. It's worth it when you win the game or you win the playoff game or you have an opportunity to win a championship. That teaches you a lesson that no classroom can ever teach you, period. Then you carry that. You hear these athletes all the time. Why do you think former athletes are such desirable employees and are successful in things outside of sports so very often? Well, it's because they take those lessons learned from sports about competition, hard work, dedication, everything that I just mentioned. You apply that to your professional career or your personal life, and they're successful. Apply that to your professional career. Hard work, dedication, putting in the time, loyalty, working with others, all of those things. You're going to be a successful professional. You learn that in sports, and you learn that by competing, and you learn that by winning. Now, if you want to just let anybody compete for whatever works for them, you won't have female athletics. You won't have it. We separated those, and Title IX was important enough for Congress to get involved with back in the 70s. And look at the opportunities that have grown out of that for female athletes. The WNBA is on its, 30th year now? And look how much college women's basketball has grown. College women's athletics in general. I spent 2 weeks watching college softball regionals and super regionals in the College Softball World Series. And the stadiums are full. That wasn't happening 20 years ago. These things have grown. Sports are good. Competition is good. Winning is good. Losing is sometimes, no coaches will tell you this, better. You learn a lot when you lose. You learn a lot. And it's not about reliving your glory days. It shouldn't be. I know there are adults who do that crap. It shouldn't be about that. It's about all the things that I said. Competition, you learn all that, but winning and success and failure has to all be part of that equation. And yes, I do enjoy covering high school sports, and I do enjoy highlighting the accomplishments of these young student athletes and what they're able to achieve, and highlighting what hard work and dedication will get you. It'll get you a long way. It'll get you a long way. All right, 304 Talk 304. It's amazing to me some women will fight for what they believe is right, but don't say anything when politicians are trying to take away their rights, like voting or serving your country in combat or holding CEO positions in the workplace. Just saying, who's doing that? Who is trying to take away women's right to vote? Come on, do better. 304 Talk 304. It's great to hear that WVU Sports is coming back to WVRC Media. Well, thank you. Yeah, big news. Big news. 304 Talk 304. WVU Sports back on WV Radio. That's fantastic news, says the texter. 304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. Got a story you're not going to believe out of Preston County. Maybe you will. You probably will. And speaking of sports, it's a... Well, I have to bring it up because we do this every single year, and I apologize in advance to New York Mets fans. You know what I'm talking about. 304 Talk 304, the text line. More of your thoughts coming up. Also, 800-765-TALK. That is the phone number. You know, jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mega Millions lights up Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in store and online, 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpot is $375 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $542 million. So go ahead, play today.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
For couples that are experiencing infertility, about half will have the male factor in the diagnosis. At the WVU Medicine Center for Reproductive Medicine, we offer a wide array of treatment options for male factor infertility. There's really no reason you would need to go anywhere else. If we can identify and treat male factor infertility, we can prevent couples from even having to go down the road of IVF, saving you potentially money and time. We're here to help build a family. We have the capabilities and we care.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Come.
.304 Talk 304, the text line 800-765-8255. We'll talk to the mayor of Wheeling coming up top of the hour. What's going on with the redevelopment plans for the Center Foundry site there in Warwood? That's North Wheeling. We'll talk to the mayor coming up top of the hour. Later on, second hour, we'll also check in with our highly unqualified, unofficial, and unpaid World Cup analyst, Ethan Collins. First of the month, we'll get revenue numbers. Eric Nelson will join us as well. Fiscal year has closed. We'll see how West Virginia did in fiscal year 26. This story out of Preston County caught my eye this morning. from WAJR. A Preston County man's facing multiple charges after he allegedly used, wait for it, a movie prop to buy items at a convenience store in Terra Alta. 56-year-old Larry Ray Jones is accused of using a $20 bill with the corner torn away and marked with, quote, movie prop use only in several locations. Deputies from the Preston County Sheriff's Department met with the store manager and used store surveillance to confirm Jones tendered the bill to the clerk. Jones reportedly used the fake bill. Jones reportedly used the fake bill to purchase alcohol, pop, and a candy bar. The clerk told police Jones used change from the transaction to buy 2 scratch-off lottery tickets before leaving. The store employee confronted Jones at a later date and asked him to pay for the items. When Jones learned he would be banned from the business for life, he fled without paying. He's been charged with counterfeiting and is being held on $5,000 bail at the Taggart Valley Regional Jail. That's not even a good attempt to use a counterfeit bill. Movie prop use only. It's like hillbilly headlines. If you ever, I don't know if anybody's ever listened to Marty McGee, ESPN Radio. Couple of college, I think Marty Smith does NASCAR college sports, and Ryan McGee, same thing. They do hillbilly headlines. Might have to send this one in. Movie prop use only. For what? Alcohol, pop, and a candy bar. 304-TALK, 304. That's the text line, 800-765-8255. Man, that was some good preaching. Winners get sprinkles on their ice cream. Do you? I suppose you do. Look, I wrote about this over at WVMetroNews.com this morning, circling back to yesterday's decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision now has a couple of impacts, I think, here in West Virginia, all of which we've talked about at length, right? But one of the things that it does, it kind of concludes this chapter, at least for now, in this cultural debate that we have had in West Virginia for the last 5 or 6 years with regards to this issue and issues connected to it. Why does it conclude it? Well, Save Women's Sports Act, the 2021 law, is now the law of the land. The law will have to be enforced. WVSSAC will have to comply with the law. I know they put out a statement yesterday. Their legal team is going through it, but bottom line is the law in West Virginia is that boys cannot compete in girls' sports, no matter what they identify as. And lawmakers who campaigned on protecting women's and girls' sports can go back to their constituents and can say they have fulfilled that campaign promise. That is exactly what they have set out to do, and that's what they have done. When this comes up at the legislature, any type of this conversation in this arena of transgenderism, whatever you want to call it, it sucks the air right out of the room. Any kind of momentum on any conversation grinds to a halt. There ends up being a 3-hour debate. There ends up being a lot of grandstanding. Well, you passed the law in 2021. This is the law now. Lawmakers can move on from that cultural debate, at least that particular one. Go back to constituents and say, I did it. We have done it. It is done. At least for now. And shift the focus, at least from that cultural issue. I'm not saying ignore it completely or move on completely, never revisit it, but shift the focus to problems that West Virginia is facing when it comes to, say, public education funding, which we're going to talk more about tomorrow. Reworking the school system, school aid formula. Addressing these kitchen table issues that are important to West Virginians. Not saying that was not an important one. I do think the cultural issues are important. The problem with them, they can just absolutely bog down a legislative session, can halt momentum on very important other conversations. And as far as this one goes, this one's over. It's been solved. Court of public opinion weighed in on this long before the U.S. Supreme Court did. And I pointed out a Pew Research poll, a Gallup poll, both of which found basically the same thing, that people do not believe, the majority of people in this country don't believe boys should be playing in girls' sports. West Virginia has a law. 27 other states have a law. This cultural issue, in my mind, I've said this before, is settled. And now we can move on from it. We've got the ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court. The law can be implemented. Rules can be implemented to adhere to the law, and we can move on. And I mean that in a good way. You have fulfilled your campaign promises as lawmakers who campaigned on this issue. You've done it. You have fulfilled that promise to your constituents. Now you can move on to tackle other campaign promises. 304 Talk 304. That's the text line. Coming up second hour, we're going to talk to the Wheeling Mayor, Denny Magruder, going to join us. What's going on with that old Center Foundry site? Data center, not a data center? Don't know yet. We'll have that conversation a little bit later on. Eric Nelson, Revenue Secretary, will stop by. We'll get the final revenue numbers for fiscal year 26, and we'll talk 2 good minutes of soccer with our unqualified, unofficial, unpaid World Cup correspondent, producer Ethan. Go get you a scone and a cafe latte. Come on back for the second hour of Metro News Talkline. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you here. So we have prolonged, dangerously hot and humid conditions for a long stretch. East, central, and western areas of the state, we have heat advisories and extreme heat warnings. In Charleston, our extreme heat warning is today and lasts all the way through 10 p.m. Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today we're up to an extreme heat risk in the purple there to the west. The heat risk is extreme when the heat and humidity is either rare and or prolonged. We'll have some dangerously hot temperatures and very high heat index values too. Likely dry across the state, some patchy dense fog. Chances of storms potentially return sometime around the holiday weekend. We had a high 92, low at 71 yesterday. Both of those 6 above average. Again, likely dry. Some areas of dense fog may affect your morning drive, then strong sunshine. Sunny to mostly sunny skies with very high heat and humidity. Fly-Saver forecast, it starts at home. Most of these cities have heat concerns too. Washington, D.C., 102 Thursday, 103 Friday. Looking ahead for the 4th of July on Saturday. Seeing their forecast at 101. That would be their hottest 4th of July on record in Washington, D.C., so keep an eye on that. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to upper 90s with the higher triple-digit heat index values. Extreme heat warning for you. The Eastern Panhandle, you have a heat advisory today, mid-90s to some low 100s. And some uncertainty regarding Thursday, Friday, but there is an extreme heat watch for Thursday, Friday for the Eastern Panhandle. Central and western areas, you have the warning, highs mid to upper 90s. Will likely fall shy of record highs, but some daily warm record lows will be possible here and there. Western areas, hot, humid, dangerously so if proper precautions aren't met. 97 in Charleston today, little to no relief with the lows too in the 70s. Saturday for the 4th, there is a chance of showers and storms and still hot and humid, 95. Still watching chances of off and on storms next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of Metro News Talkline in Cove Insurance Studios. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. Say good morning if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We appreciate it. Thank you for letting us be part of your day. TJ taking a week off. He's back on Monday. He's relaxing at a golf course in an undisclosed location. Jake Link handling the video stream. Producer Ethan on the audio side. You can be part of the show by giving us a call, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Text the show, 304-TALK-304. Later, producer Ethan will join us as our unqualified, unofficial, and unpaid World Cup correspondent. U.S. taking on Bosnia-Herzegovina today, coming up. I don't know what time, actually, that game starts. Ethan will know. Ethan has all of the details on the World Cup. We'll get 2 good soccer minutes later on. Eric Nelson, Revenue Secretary, will stop by. We'll check the revenue numbers, see how the state's doing as the fiscal year concluded yesterday. And fiscal year 27 officially begins today. Your text as well, 304-TALK, 304 and 800-765-TALK, the phone number. Last week, TJ and I spent some time talking about a bit of a kerfuffle, in the figurative sense, not in a physical sense, but figurative sense, up in the northern panhandle after news broke last week that the former Center Foundry and Machine Company property in Warwood was recently sold to Silicon Foundation Energy Incorporated, which intends to redevelop that site for the production of modules to be used in the booming data center industry. Now, reports first came out that that site could be used for a data center. There was an impromptu public meeting organized by delegate and state Senate candidate Sean Fluharty. There were a lot of upset people. A lot of people had a lot of questions. Wheeling Intelligencer reporter Eric Ayers has been covering this. He reached out to Silicon Foundation officials. They dispelled what was described as misconceptions and clarified the company's intentions. we'll try to clarify some of what's going on there in the Northern Panhandle this morning as the data center conversation. Anytime you mention those two words, people's ears perk up, and sometimes the scruff on the back of the neck perks up as well, because they are certainly, I hate to use, we throw around the word controversial too often, but they're a controversial topic as West Virginia tries to figure out how to responsibly develop these types of facilities. So joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is the mayor of Wheeling, Denny Magruder. Mr. Mayor, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dave, and thanks for having me on.
So can you give us the rundown? What do you know? The sale of this property just closed here in the last couple of weeks. I know the company, Silicon Foundation, still trying to figure out exactly what they want to do, but what is your understanding is the plans for the old foundry site there in Warwood?
Well, Dave, we don't have the specific plans. We did have, more than a month ago, the city manager and myself, and there were some other folks in the room. They weren't city councilors, but there were some other folks in the room that did have a meeting with Andre from Silicon Foundation. And basically, it was one of those exploratory, very early conversations, hey, getting to meet each other, talking about possibilities. And nothing definite, though. There was nothing in writing. There were no blueprints, designs, anything like that. There were no applications for any kind of permits. It was just kind of a get acquainted type of conversation, and that's not something that that's not something specific to that. We do that 2, 3, 4 times a month. We'll meet with an individual, group, a developer, in an initial meeting, talking about what may happen, what kind of developments can we do. So it was just an early exploratory conversation. And then, of course, there was a social media post by yet a third party who said there was going to be a data center, and then, of course, social media erupted. But still, that's not clearly defined. We do know that Silicon Foundation has purchased Center Foundry. There will be some meetings, I'm sure. They promised to get back to us. We'll see what's going on there. Center Foundry is a very nice site for redevelopment. And we're just going to have to see what becomes of this. So I think there were a lot of folks that reacted to the social media post, which was most inappropriate. That post should have never been put up by somebody that we had not met with. Well, that was a third party that we knew nothing about.
Let's break this down. We'll deal with that part of it. But I would think, Denny, that that site right along Route 2, there's access to adequate power. There's access to the river. I would think there's access to rail coming through there as well. That seems like a lot of potential for that former industrial site as Wheeling kind of tries to redevelop and redefine itself, isn't it?
Well, it's a great site, Dave. It's right there, as you mentioned, right along Route 2. It has access to the Ohio River. There's no longer rail service there.
Okay.
But it does have those other accesses that are very important to development. It is zoned industrial, for many, many years, nearly 100 years. It's been an industrial complex. So, the city's definitely interested in talking to folks about occupying that space. We just have to be very clear about what it's going to be, how it works, and when we get that information, then we'll vet that out. We'll talk to our own professionals and make decisions from there.
We're talking to Wheeling Mayor Denny Magruder. How common is it when a company is wanting to move into the city or move into the area for them to come to you and have these conversations so everyone is on the same page? Is that something that happens on a regular basis?
It does happen on a regular basis, Dave. And as I say, we do have conversations, sometimes several a month, with developers or individuals that have some ideas, some thoughts that never develop. So this was one of those initial discussions. I do know that a property transfer has occurred, so I'm sure that discussion is going to become much more detailed as we move down the road. But the only interaction I've had with Silicon Foundation is with their owner, Andre, and it was that initial tire kind of kicking conversation. Hopefully we'll be talking again very soon here in the future and figuring out what the details are. And, of course, at that point, the city will be looking for some paperwork, some diagrams, blueprints, some kind of narrative, and we'll go from there.
Why do you suppose, and it's not unique to Wheeling, we're like this all over the state, Denny, we want redevelopment, we want to see our economy grow, but at the same time, I think we're very... we're maybe leery. We're worried we're going to lose maybe what makes us unique, whether it's our unique city, our unique state. Do you think that plays into some of the angst people have when they hear about these sites being sold and developers coming in?
Dave, I think it does. And the other thing is, look, social media has been one of those things that, topics just explode. And they explode before all the participants, all the citizens, all the politicians get any real accurate information. I think it's a breeding ground, I guess, for rumors when you get to the social media. And I understand citizen concerns. When they hear something, they see it, they get all nervous, and they have a right to be concerned. But I think we have to find out what the real information is first. We will be honest with our constituents at that point, see how they react. But you're right. I think we fear sometimes losing, Dave, what's made West Virginia special. One of the situations, though, West Virginia has been very, very strong in the coal and steel and those kind of industries, and they're going by the wayside as a whole. They're not as big and as prominent as they once were. And so I think, we have to kind of look at how we change and how we move into the technological era as well. So we just have to listen. I'm not saying we make rash decisions, but we know that life's going to be different 20 years from now, 50 years from now than it is today. So we just have to keep our eyes and ears open and be an open mind society.
Talking to Wheeling Mayor Denny Magruder, let me broaden this out just a little bit. All up and down the northern panhandle, that upper Ohio Valley, things have really changed. You go on up the river, you get to Weirton Steel is long gone. You got Form Energy on part of that campus. The whole northern panhandle, Denny, has had to rethink the local economy, rethink redevelopment. How has Wheeling approached redevelopment and taking a look at the local economy moving into the future?
I think, Dave, as you said, we have to look at a different world now. Instead of an industrial-based economy, we're obviously going to move to a technology-based economy. That's the way it's got to work. One of the things in Wheeling, we're trying to redevelop some of these older properties. We're trying to refocus some of our attention. Healthcare has become an even bigger component in our economy here. W Medicine is going to build a large regional cancer center. It's ready. Construction is about to begin. A couple of years from now, we hope to be treating patients. So our focuses are changing just a bit. But again, I think we just have to have an open mind, find out what our real opportunities are, and be ready to move in some new directions.
I think the open mind part there is key. Look, I totally get it. I always said if they built a data center next to my house, I'd be right out there complaining too. I wouldn't want it next to my house either. But a site like, again, I don't know if it's a data center, but an industrial site that seems to have all of the things that a lot of companies look for. That looks like a very desirable site if you were looking to build some sort of facility like Silicon Energy is planning on there.
Yeah, I think it's a definite great industrial site for development, Dave. And again, I just want to make sure that our residents and citizens know that, we're not going to just jump into this without making sure that safeguards are in place. I know some of the stuff that I read on some of the social media following this post is that, the sky's going to fall kind of thing, is that we're going to use millions and millions of gallons of water. The city will make sure that when somebody comes in, some of those meetings that you would have along the way when you get blueprints and designs, you find out what those capacities and needs are. We do that all the time. When a new business moves to town, what do they need? What do they need from the city? What can we provide? What are the current regulations in terms of zoning? And so we're going to be careful about that, but I'm not going to say we're not going to develop that site. We're going to be careful, and we're going to share the facts with our citizens.
Hey, did you get all the downtown projects finished up yet? The paving, the line replacement, that all finished up?
They're close to completion, Dave. I think they're in the final stages right now, doing some punch list things. And again, it's a whole new concept downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Some citizens say, I'm not really crazy about it. Look, I can tell you this. It's better than it was, and I think we'll tweak it just a bit to make it as good as it can be. But it's been an amazing transformation on our downtown streets. I think our businesses enjoy very much the new look. And so, this is an exciting time in Wheeling, Dave.
He's the mayor of Wheeling, Denny Magruder. Denny, appreciate the conversation this morning. Keep us updated.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck. Take care.
You as well. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. I didn't forget about you, Mets fans. It's a special day for New York Mets fans. If you live in the sports world, you know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about that for a minute. Next, Text to get to as well. Eric Nelson, bottom of the hour. This is Talkline on Metro News from the Encova Insurance Studios.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime, with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
304 Talk 304. That is the text line. 800-765-TALK. 800-765-8255. The phone number. It is hot. No better place to be than out on a lake or river, especially heading into the holiday weekend. But you can't do that if you don't have a boat. So don't be left on the shore. Be ready for the long holiday weekend by checking out the great selection on pontoon and fishing boats at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. LouWendellMarineSales.com. You can see the entire inventory. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. I was talking to producer Jake during the a couple of breaks ago and mentioned Bobby Bonilla. He goes, who? Bobby Bonilla. Anybody who was a baseball fan in the 90s remembers Bobby Bo. Played for the Pirates, went to the Mets, signed what may be the single greatest contract in the history of baseball for him, not so much for the Mets. Bobby Bonilla. Today is Bobby Bonilla Day. He has not played for the Mets since 1999, but yet he received his $1,193,248.20 payment from the Mets today. He took a huge deferred contract. He will continue, when he signed with the Mets back in the 90s, he will continue receiving that nearly $1.2 million payment through 2035. Worked out well for him. Didn't work out so well for the Mets. By the way, are they in last place? They just fired their manager, too. So congratulations, Bobby Bonilla. 304-TALK-304, that's the text line, 800-765-8255. By the way, oil price is down today. Let's see. Brent crude is $72 a barrel. That's down about almost 2%. WTI crude's down about 1%, $69 per barrel. So that's good news. There's some good news as the heat wave comes. By the way, all right, I'm going to be that guy for just 2 seconds. I'll get to some text lines. It's July. I shouldn't need to tell you it's hot. It's July. It is hot. It is humid. It'll be hot and humid until we get to mid-October, probably. Please plan accordingly. You know this. We do this in July. We do it in January. We'll do it 6 months from now when we have to tell you it's cold in January. It's top 15 pet peeve. It's July. It's hot and humid. Plan accordingly. You know it's going to be hot and humid. How do you know that? It's July. I shouldn't have to tell you that. All right, ran over. 304-TALK-304 is the text line. Texter says, has a biological male ever won a female sport in West Virginia? If so, what event? Yes, the 2026 AAA girls shot put. 304-TALK-304. Don't allow girls to compete in sports like wrestling, in boys' sports like wrestling. Doesn't work that way. The reason boys should not be competing in girls' sports is males have a distinct physical advantage, generally speaking. If a girl can compete with the boys at their level and do it successfully, more power to her. But it's the other way around, generally speaking. Boys have a physical advantage. Even in middle school, certainly in high school, that's the case. That's why it doesn't work the other direction. Hey, if there's a girl and she can play middle linebacker for the Mohegans, Sean Pizer will put her on the field, no doubt in my mind. But it doesn't work the other way around. 304-TALK-304. Hey, Dave, I don't believe TJ is on a golf course anywhere. He is holed up in his basement combing through House Bill 2014 and putting together some spreadsheets. That's very possible. He said on this show that he was going to spend time during his vacation reading the administrative rules concerning the high-intensity data centers. So I wouldn't put it past him. 304-TALK-304. I lived a block from Center Foundry at one point. It was a noisy neighborhood. How a town built around heavy industry can have any concern with a data center is laughable. The lot also would not be large enough for the large-scale data centers that have been in the news. Sean Fluharty has made a fool of himself yet again, says the texter. Look, there is just talking to the mayor there, we don't know exactly what the company wants to do with that property. And the reason this all got blown out of proportion, thank you, social media, is because the two trigger words got used, data center. And look, I understand the trepidation with these. And a lot of the same conversation we were having 10 years ago when it came to fracking. We didn't want fracking. City of Morgantown tried to ban fracking a mile outside of its city limits. Fast forward, the city of Morgantown a couple of years ago, there were elected officials who were dead set on trying to stop basically a data center in an industrial park. It was a crypto mining facility, but basically a data center. So it's the same arguments. A lot of the times the same people making the same arguments. We need to develop data centers responsibly. Absolutely. Absolutely we do. There needs to be community buy-in. There needs to be transparency as well, but you can't just say no automatically, number one. Number two, as the texter pointed out, that was an industrial site, zoned for industry. So, it's not like you're developing virgin farmland here. So give the company a chance to determine what it exactly wants to do with that property. 304-TALK-304. I call BS. First lumber, then coal, then natural gas, and now data centers have taken the wealth from our state and left nothing but poverty. And I think that's the other part of the concern, texter. We have been through this as a culture, as a society, as a state, where we have seen Companies come in from the outside, take the wealth and leave our communities and leave communities in a bind. We're seeing that. So I understand the trepidation. I do. I do think, though, done correctly, West Virginia can play a role in this technological evolution, and it can be a net positive for this state. Look, unless we start getting a whole bunch more people, we need to figure out how to generate more tax revenue for all the above, from foster care to public schools to whatever we want to fund through state government. So unless we're going to get a whole bunch more people, which also comes with a whole bunch of issues as well, not necessarily bad, but there are infrastructure needs, housing needs, et cetera, or data center development provides an opportunity to raise that tax revenue, to generate some tax revenue, and not necessarily require the number of people that it would ordinarily take. It's an opportunity. It's not the silver bullet. It's an opportunity. 304-TALK, 304, that's the text line, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. We'll talk to the Revenue Secretary, see how West Virginia did in fiscal year 26. Next, this is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. It is 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you here. So we have prolonged, dangerously hot and humid conditions for a long stretch. East, central, and western areas of the state, we have heat advisories and extreme heat warnings. In Charleston, our extreme heat warning is today and lasts all the way through 10 p.m. Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today we're up to an extreme heat risk in the purple there to the west. The heat risk is extreme when the heat and humidity is either rare and or prolonged. We'll have some dangerously hot temperatures and very high heat index values too. Likely dry across the state, some patchy dense fog. Chances of storms potentially return sometime around the holiday weekend. We got a high 92, low at 71 yesterday. Both of those 6 above average. Again, likely dry. Some areas of dense fog may affect your morning drive, then strong sunshine. Sunny to mostly sunny skies with very high heat and humidity. Fly-saver forecast, it starts at home. Most of these cities have heat concerns too. Washington, D.C., 102 Thursday, 103 Friday. Looking ahead for the 4th of July on Saturday. Seeing their forecast at 101. That would be their hottest 4th of July on record in Washington, D.C., so keep an eye on that. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to upper 90s with the higher triple-digit heat index values, extreme heat warning for you. The Eastern Panhandle, you have a heat advisory today, mid-90s to some low 100s, and some uncertainty regarding Thursday, Friday, but there is an extreme heat watch for Thursday, Friday for the Eastern Panhandle. Central and western areas, you have the warning, highs mid to upper 90s. Will likely fall shy of record highs, but some daily warm record lows will be possible here and there. Western areas, hot, humid, dangerously so if proper precautions aren't met. 97 in Charleston today, little to no relief with the lows too in the 70s. Saturday for the 4th, there is a chance of showers and storms and still hot and humid, 95. Still watching chances of off and on storms next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
More of your text, 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. 2 good soccer minutes with producer Ethan. coming up in just a little bit. It is July 1st. That means the fiscal year concluded yesterday. How did West Virginia do in fiscal year 26? Let's bring on the expert. He's Revenue Secretary Eric Nelson. Joins us on the first of the month. Eric, good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you, Dave, for having me. It's good to be back.
So let's put a bow on fiscal year 26. How did West Virginia conclude the fiscal year?
Sure. We'll put a nice little bow on this. I may be just a tad little bit longer because it is the year end, but we just finished our final month of fiscal year 2026, and we finished very strong, and continue to trend over the last few months. I think what speaks highly of Governor Morrissey's policies, to promote growth and strengthen, the state's financials. But in particular, June collections totaled about $570 million, which was about $57 million over estimate. That's a little over 10%. And for the full year, and again, this was Governor Morrissey's first full budget. The total collections for the year were $5.7 billion, which were $370 million, or about 7% over our estimates. And I think something that shows quite strong, it was roughly $174 million, or about 3.2% over the prior year. It has been the case over these last 6 months. Most of our revenue growth has been led by the increases in personal income tax collections and severance tax collections. And they have accounted really for all of the June growth and about 80% of that $370 million fiscal 26 growth. Dave, in particular, a couple line items. I mentioned that the personal income tax was one of the main drivers. It accounts for just at 38% of our total revenue, and was up about 8% for over estimate and about 2.5% over the prior year. We attribute that to really higher wages being paid to West Virginia workers. The other big driver, the severance tax, was up 35% over estimates and significantly over the prior year. Most of that has been led by higher production in our natural gas industry and the prices that they receive. I think all this speaks, to the strong fundamentals and the base that have been put in place by, Governor Morrissey's plans. Two final notes before any questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
We talk, or you hear people read about the back of the budget. And, the budget process is one that the regular items are put in the regular budget for regular ongoing expenditures. And to the extent that we have a surplus where estimates or actuals come in over estimates, the legislature and the governor put some items in the back of the budget that would be one-time expenditures from surplus. This year, or the 2026 budget, had $245 million of one-time expenditures placed in the back in case our revenues exceeded estimates. And we did by $370 million, so the $245 million will be fully funded. First and foremost, and I think the big one that everybody looks at is infrastructure and road spending, and that'll be over $125 million. One other line item in there was for the first time since legislation was passed, there will be $5 million going to the Flood Resiliency Trust Fund. So I think that speaks wonders of the focus of our governor and the legislature moving along. Lastly, Dave, July is a very important month for us on the budget team. That's what's called our 13th month, and that is a time when all the agencies, if you will, finalize their books, look at their expense line items, and we expire unspent monies back into general revenue and create additional surplus going into the following year. I know that's a lot. Happy to answer any questions, but again, we we're very pleased with not only the month of June, but the fiscal year of 2026.
So math is not my strong suit, but quick math there, Eric. $245 in surplus expenditures that were budgeted in by the legislature and Governor Morrissey, $370 million surplus. So at the end of the day, even with all of that funded in on the back end of the budget, as they say, West Virginia, we're still finishing with a surplus of what, about $125 million then?
Your math is spot on. I think you've learned some lessons from TJ, maybe.
Oh, I've learned to ask him about this stuff. That's what I've learned, Eric.
Yeah, Dave, that will you've done that right, and I would expect that number will grow slightly with what I just recently said about expirations of unspent expenditure monies. So those monies will be available for appropriation in various manners going forward.
Consumer sales tax. How did we finish with consumer sales tax, and what do you take away from those numbers?
Sure. So consumer sales tax was up slightly for the month, and I think over the last couple of months we've talked about it's keeping pace somewhat with inflation in that 2.5% to 3% range. The one area of consumer sales tax I'd like to focus on is the growth over the prior year, which has exceeded 7%. And so that's more than double the inflation rate. And we attribute a lot of that to, again, our income tax relief that the governor has promoted, and those dollars being spent, on items across the state. And we do, again, I'll put the caution for the team as it relates to inflationary aspects and the higher gas prices, and hopefully our recent drop will continue and allow, our state residents to spend more on items that they desire other than filling up their tank with expensive gas.
Talking to Revenue Secretary Eric Nelson. As we start fiscal 27, Eric, do you remain, I think we were calling it cautiously optimistic moving forward?
Yes, sir. Yes. It's always could be one of caution. On the personal income tax side, we had the 5% cut that was implemented effective the beginning of the year. We'll see more of that go into effect here in the second part of the year, and of course all of 2027. So that to the extent we'll have some cautionary look-see as people take full advantage of the tax cut. The consumer sales tax, as I just mentioned, always cautious of what the trend is, and those two items together are 70% of our revenues. I think we're on a good trend with the severance tax, especially natural gas, and the policies that have been promoted by the governor on the energy development and whatnot, I think speak wonders of future production and of our natural resources and the ultimate severance tax collections that we'll receive off that.
He's Eric Nelson. He is the Revenue Secretary in West Virginia. Fiscal year ending yesterday. New fiscal year begins today. Eric, we'll talk to you in a month. We'll get the first numbers from fiscal year 27.
Great, Dave. Thanks, and have a happy 4th.
Hey, happy Independence Day to you as well. 304-TALK, 304, the text line, 800-765-TALK. The phone number. We'll get 2 good soccer minutes with producer Ethan when we return.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For couples that are experiencing infertility, about half will have the male factor in the diagnosis. At the WVU Medicine Center for Reproductive Medicine, we offer a wide array of treatment options for male factor infertility. There's really no reason you would need to go anywhere else. If we can identify and treat male factor infertility, we can prevent couples from even having to go down the road of IVF, saving you potentially money and time. We're here to help build a family. We have the capabilities and we care.
5, 3. For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably Mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Text line is 304-TALK-304. Phone number is 800-765-8255. Texter says, I saw firsthand how Las Vegas lost its civil identity when big corporate moved in to so-called make things better. Actually, it forced out a whole lot of personality and brought in a very different and impersonal atmosphere. Beware, West Virginia. They talk nice, then overwhelm the natural feel and resources, all in the name of progress. Thank you so much for the common sense. Yes, it's hot in the summer. Yes, it's cold in the winter. Shouldn't have to tell you that. We do it every year, though. We do this in the media. In media, we do it all the time. It's hot in July. Yes, indeed it is. It's always hot in July. And then 6 months from now, we'll do the same thing. It's cold in January. Yep, it's always cold in January. 304-TALK-304. But that doesn't, I don't even know if that's in my top 10 of pet peeves. Top 15, maybe. Top 15. All right, more of your texts coming up. The World Cup continues. U.S. in action later tonight, taking on Bosnia-Herzegovina. Our unpaid, unofficial, unqualified World Cup expert and correspondent is producer Ethan. Good morning, producer Ethan.
Good morning, Dave.
All right, hold on. Jake, do we have the clock ready? I'm waiting for Jake to get the clock ready. All right, your 2 minutes starts now. Go.
Thank you, Dave. So we're into the knockout stages. I'll go into the round of 32 and finish up with the USA preview. Knockouts got underway Sunday with Canada getting a goal in stoppage time. Dave, if you don't know, that's the time added on at the end of 90 minutes. They defeated South Africa in a knockout appearance, in their first knockout appearance, and that game finished 1-0. Monday was, quote, upset day, and all games took more than 90 minutes to be decided. Paraguay beat European giants Germany in penalty kicks, and Germany has now not won a knockout match in the World Cup since they won the whole thing back in 2014. The other upset that took place with penalties was Morocco advancing to defeat the Netherlands. The non-upset game was a good one still. Brazil conceded a goal early to Japan, but fought back and got a goal in stoppage time to win it 2-1. Yesterday, no upsets and no extra time needed. Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1, and the top betting favorites in the tournament, France, took care of business over Sweden 3-0, and co-host Mexico defeated Ecuador 2-0. Today, we kick off at noon with England taking on the DR Congo. Winner of that game will play Mexico. 4 p.m., Belgium takes on Senegal. The winner of that one will play the winner of the USA game. Tomorrow, 5 of the 6 teams are playing in Europe. Spain plays Austria, Portugal plays Croatia, and Switzerland takes on Algeria. Then on Friday, we finished the round of 32 with defending champs Argentina taking on the Cinderella story Cape of Verde. Also, Egypt will take on the Socceroos of Australia, and we finish up the round of 32 with Colombia facing Ghana. To wrap up, USA will face Bosnia at 8 p.m. tonight. Bosnia are good, not great. However, USA plays the way they did in the group stage. I'm sure they'll have no problem advancing to the round of 16.
Perfect. You did it with 3 seconds to spare, Ethan. Well done.
Hey, I try.
Hey, okay, I will grant you a couple of extra seconds. Is Germany the University of Florida in terms of college football?
I would give
World Cup. Won it all a long time ago and still thinks it's a great big power, but not really.
I honestly was talking about this with my fiance yesterday. I would give them the LSU.
Oh, okay.
When they're good, they're really good. Like 2019 LSU. When they're good, they're like the best. But when they're not good, they still think they're really good and they fall apart.
Maybe they just need Coach O to come in and straighten them out.
That's exactly right.
Does Norway have a chance? I like their fan base. I'm all in on the Norwegians.
You like to row the boat?
They're fun. They seem like a lot of fun to hang out with.
They've got one of the best strikers in the world in Erling Haaland. He's the guy with the ponytail. I don't know if you've even watch the games, and they've got a guy who can create chances really well. Do they have a chance to win the whole thing? I would say the USA's got a better chance, honestly.
Wow.
But they can upset people with how good they attack. The problem is I just don't think they have a defense to make it very far.
All right, do we win tonight?
Yes.
All right. So who would we play after if we win tonight? What's the matchup?
The winner of Belgium and Senegal. Senegal,
we can beat them, can't we?
Belgium had a very poor performance in the group stage, and Senegal had a really tough group where they had France and Norway in their group, and I thought they played semi-well, but I think Senegal will win at 4 p.m. So if you want to watch that game before the USA game, that's the game that takes place. So whoever we would face in the round of 16 is right before our game.
Texter says you buried the lead. Producer Ethan has a fiance? Yes. Very, very nice. Very lovely, by the way. Met her a couple of times.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else I need to know today, Ethan? You still rooting against USA?
I don't root against the USA. I have my USA jersey on.
Oh, okay. Which one are you wearing today?
2014 home World Cup jersey, the white one with the polo.
All right. Producer Ethan, our unqualified, unpaid, unofficial World Cup correspondent. Thank you for the update, Ethan. Well done.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate the time.
All right. We'll get a couple of texts here. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. 800-765-8255. The rest of the show belongs to you. We'll get to your thoughts next.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. For years, rural communities in West Virginia waited for reliable, high-speed internet. Now, fiber is most likely at your front door. Public investment helped build the opportunity, and CityNet delivered the service to homes and businesses just like yours. With free equipment, free installation, no contract, and local support you can count on, switching to fiber has never been easier. Fast downloads, smooth streaming, better connections for work, school, and everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
WVMetroNews.com, the only website you need to stay informed in the Mountain State. Get the...
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
For couples that are experiencing infertility, about half will have the male factor in the diagnosis. At the WVU Medicine Center for Reproductive Medicine, we offer a wide array of treatment options for male factor infertility. There's really no reason you would need to go anywhere else. If we can identify and treat male factor infertility, we can prevent couples from even having to go down the road of IVF, saving you potentially money and time. We're here to help build a family. We have the capabilities and we care.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Quick shout out. Producer Ethan yesterday did a tremendous job. Had a lot of things being shuffled around with the news breaking from the U.S. Supreme Court. Did a wonderful job, and I really appreciate the help yesterday during all of that behind-the-scenes chaos. Did a good job. He deserves a shout out every once in a while. Just don't let it go to your head, Ethan. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now's the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. Couple of texts here before we call it a day. 304-TALK-304. That is the text line. Used to drive by the Warwood site 2 and 3 times a day. Been up for sale a couple of years. A lot of long-term employees lost their jobs when it closed. The property is not as large as what people would want you to think. It is if there is a data center there, it would not be that big, and any kind of development there would be a plus for that depressed area, says the texter. Dave, in your response to the earlier texter about life lessons learned by playing sports in school, I agree with you that winning is very important, but also losing is just as, if not more important. Let me explain. I was a high school athlete. I was a very bad high school athlete. I could probably count on one hand how many wrestling matches, football games, baseball games, or anything else of such that I was successful at or won. What I learned from this was how to be a good loser, a good sportsman, and most importantly, how to learn from my mistakes and allow myself to compensate and be successful in other aspects of life. Also, I just enjoy going to practice and having fun with my friends. The important thing is, it is important for students to learn how to be a good winner as well as a good loser. I 100% agree with you. You learn a lot. Look, you're going to fail in life. I don't mean overall, but there are going to be failures along the way, and it is how you I know this sounds so cliche, but you learn this in sports. You learn this from athletics. It is how you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go at it again. You learn that. You learn that in football. You learn that in basketball. You learn that whatever athletic competition you participate in. Absolutely. I agree with you, Texter. Let's focus on more important issues, Dave. Did you RSVP your invite to Tay-Tay's and Trav's wedding? God. Listen, you can put that right up there with the list of things that I could not care less about. Put that right up there with reflecting pools and ballrooms. No, I had to RSVP no. I thought I would not be able to make it. They were very disappointed. Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $375 million. Mega Millions is $542 million. So go ahead, play today. We'll talk America 250 tomorrow. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.